In 18th century Tuscany, behind high stone walls, life in the Convent of Marradi was quiet, isolated, and strictly devoted to God. Among the sisters lived Suor Maria. Her conduct was so flawless, her devotion so absolute, that the other nuns genuinely believed they were living alongside a budding saint. But outside the convent walls, the townspeople of Marradi were living a nightmare. Families were waking up to find sacks of dark, cursed witchcraft materials stuffed deep inside their own mattresses. 4 massive sacks in total, which had to be burned in the main public square. The spells were working. A sudden, massive wave of child mortality was sweeping through the region, baffling doctors and leaving parents utterly defenseless. Suor Maria, the convent's own budding saint, was the source of the town's suffering. Her true name, hidden behind her holy vows, was Asmodea. The convent walls, built to keep sin out, were actually providing the perfect camouflage for an active agent of hell. Asmodea didn't acquire her power by joining a local coven. As a child, long before taking her holy vows, she forged a literal, exclusive marriage contract with the devil, and he visited her. At night, sisters outside Asmodea's locked cell reported hearing strange, terrifying sounds. They heard words of deep affection between a husband and wife, followed by whispered obscenities. Soon, physical evidence of her demonic husband appeared. Nuns spotted a handsome young man wearing a highly unusual wig, casually wandering the restricted corridors of the convent. Under direct orders from her dark husband, Asmodea began weaponizing the church's most sacred rituals. During Mass, she secretly held on to the communion wafers instead of swallowing them. Back in the privacy of her cell, she took the physical body of Christ and crushed it under her bare feet, or hoarded the fractured pieces to fuel her dark magic. Through this sacrilegious marriage, she completely inverted the purpose of the convent, actively mocking the church's authority from the very center of its power. Her physical body remained locked in the convent, but the other sisters began noticing her appearing in 2 places at exactly the same time, a supernatural ability known as bilocation. This allowed her to project herself across the continent. She regularly attended the massive sabbat at the Walnut Tree of Benevento, receiving royal honors from an army of 20,000 witches and 5,000 warlocks. She didn't stop there. Her travels crossed international borders. During the emperor's coronation in Frankfurt, she used magic to shapeshift, infiltrating the ceremony disguised as a small black dog to assassinate his son. She even journeyed to Marseille, acting as the physical catalyst for a devastating plague outbreak, but her primary target remained the local children. According to the historical texts detailing her confession, Asmodea's dark magic directly caused the deaths of 9,000 babies. To the authorities of the 18th century, these weren't metaphors or unfortunate coincidences. They were undeniable physical facts, orchestrated by one woman acting from a locked room. The illusion of the budding saint finally broke. The other nuns could no longer ignore the horrific nightly sounds coming from Asmodea's cell, and they brought their fears to a visiting investigator. The Inquisition moved swiftly. Bishop Piazza bypassed standard procedures and immediately authorized guards to physically strip the holy habit from her body. She was bound in heavy iron chains and dragged to the deep, impenetrable cells of the Holy Office in Faenza, a prison designed to block out demonic forces. But the thick stone walls of the Inquisition could not break her unholy marriage. In the pitch black of her cell, her demonic husband manifested one last time. He leaned in, violently urging her to slice out her own tongue so she could never confess their secrets. By adopting the name Asmodea, she replaced a life of religious devotion with a terrifying fantasy. It was an attempt to reclaim control over a destiny otherwise dictated by the Church, leaving a case that remains among the most chilling in the records of the Italian Inquisition.